Thanks again for joining me for Phil's show. I think this is like the 8th one of these streams. Pretty sure we fucked up the intro with YouTube and whatnot, but whatever. What I want to do at the top of the show here is just talk a little bit about what I've been up to lately. What have you been up to lately out there? If you're watching, tell me what's going on in the chat. Did you do something cool recently at work? Did something bad happen to you? I kind of want to hear it. Post it in the chat. This is an interactive show. I am interested in your wins and losses if you are watching this show. Speaking of wins and losses, let's take a look at one of my favorite pastimes when I have extra time, which I have a little bit more than I would like some days, and most days I have none of. We're going to take a look at the sharing with Phil vid. There we go. Retro Strange TV. Right now on Retro Strange, looks like we're watching High Grass Circus, which is this great Canadian.
And it's a simple pattern. You can see one
So
ball
good.
just goes under the other. And it's the same thing with anything that you juggle in 3. Except when you change up to what they call a fountain, like this.
How can you not love my channel? It's incredible. But one of the things we've added recently on Retro Strange TV, or rather that I added about a year ago, but have since started promoting more, is the Retro Strange GIF library. So basically we have 5 animated GIFs auto-generated from every single item in the Retro Strange catalog. So I pulled up a couple of my faves here. Fire, Patty Learns What to Do, 1951. This GIF here is one of my faves. I feel like I'm going to save it and use it for something because it suits the time, you know. These are also optimized GIFs. I in fact went the extra mile, me being me, and set the batch script up using FFmpeg to build a nice color palette for each one of these GIFs individually. Which make them look way nicer. This one's from Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Also really like this one a lot. But yes, we've got every single episode, every single film, every single short on Retro Strange TV now has these GIFs. So like Ray Harryhausen's Rapunzel. Look at these badass like stop motion animated shits. These are the jam. And of course, Reefer Madness, the classic. This one's great. Just, every Tuesday night here on Phil's show, this is what I imagine it's like, but it's not like that at all. Say hi out there if you're watching. I'm seeing a few folks sending notes. Good evening. We got some roller derby on here. I really, really want to find more old-time sports stuff. The curator, Noah, and I have talked a lot about how much we want to have weird old sports stuff on Retro Strange, or even modern weird sports stuff, probably. I think we would be down with showing roller derby. If you've got a team or a league out there and you can legally provide the footage to us, we might show it on Retro Strange TV. So hit us up. Let's see what we got going right now. Looks like High Grass Circus. Retro Strange TV is a independently owned, operated, and produced, but it is free to everyone. Tracker free. It is no ads, no trackers, no bullshit. Just a curated feed of really cool shit, handpicked by my buddy Noah, the co-founder of Retro Strange. I don't know if he's watching, but if he is, hi. Say hi out there if you're in the chat. Of course, Retro Strange is supported by Patreon. You go to patreon.com/Phil Nelson, and you can join us there. You can see who's supporting us currently. This almost pays for the Retro Strange server bills. It's pretty damn close at this point. We're not quite in the black, but we're just a little bit in the red at this point, which is fine. We were making a little bit more during the earlier parts of the pandemic and stuff, but whatever. We're gonna ditch that. Don't forget my other show. Thursday mornings I co-host Open CV Live which is a computer vision and artificial intelligence focused show featuring luminaries from the world of AI and CV, and we learn a lot of cool stuff on the show. We get a lot of interesting presentations. Like my one of my most favorite recently was we just had this episode of OpenCV Live where we had a presentation from CVPR 2024, which was very, very cool. Really appreciated the presentation. We learned a lot. And like every episode of OpenCV Live, we gave away something to folks in the audience. In fact, we gave away an OpenCV course. And so if you're looking to get into computer vision or AI as a career or just something like a hobby, then pop into the show. You might win a free course that can set you on your way. That's youtube.com/@OpenCVOfficial. It's also linked from opencv.org. And you can find us on LinkedIn at OpenCV and then various other places as well. Of course, if you're watching this, you're probably watching it here on YouTube. For some reason, it's showing two things. I don't understand this at all. Thanks a lot, YouTube, for figuring out, doing such a bad job at figuring out live streaming in 2024 when you've got 10 years of hindsight of other people doing it better. Good job, guys. I'm proud of you. Yeah. So how about those roller derby gifts, huh? Love that shit. Got Rocky Jones Space Ranger in here. It's fucking amazing. Like, just bask in this. I love that these two are like basically the same. They just did a lot of shots of just straight on hot guy on guy 2-shot action. Ray Harryhausen, Radioactive Fallout and Shelter. This one's pretty baller as well. You'd think it would be better based on the name, unfortunately. So I think what I'm going to do next is increase this. Now that we've gotten it to 10, we're going to have to go to, now that we've gotten it to 5, we're going to have to go to 10. It's going to have to be 10 per video file. The only problem with that is that I'm going to have to start versioning these things because I don't want these links to go bad. But then again, in fairness, I don't want motherfuckers to hotlink these anyway. So I kind of do want to screw up the hotlinking, in which case I'm just going to say fuck it. I think that's probably what's going to happen here. Let's, what do you think? Drop me a note in the chat. Looking at our various destinations. Got basically one person watching on each of the things that we're live on. I just muted myself to belch. Joining shortly, we'll have our first and only guest of the episode, Sean Stahl. And then I think we're probably going to play end up playing some of the Nintendo Switch NES Championship Edition. Let's move over there and see. Do I have a scene set up with this? Let's find out. I guess it would be this one. Yeah, so instead of, okay, whatever. Instead of this, which is just a little inside baseball, you're seeing the back end of Retro Strange or Phil's show here. We're gonna add the video capture. We're gonna add a scene. The mirror box capture. It's funny. All right. There we go. Got it. Problem solved. Okay. So yeah, we've totally got. Let's see how this will work. I'm trying to figure out how I'm actually gonna play this, because it's gonna be like on a teeny tiny screen here. We'll have to think this through. See if we got turn this down just a bit. Yeah, it's way too loud. All right, we're gonna go back to the oh shit screen for just a minute here, and then we'll bring our first guest onto the show. We're back here. Let's see. Sean, try saying something here.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, yeah, it looks like it's pretty good there. Like you're kind of peaked for some reason on here, but it's not your fault. Hey everybody, welcome to Phil's show. My old friend Sean Stahl. We've known each other for far longer than either of us would like to admit, probably at this point. Sure. Yeah, I mean we've. It's one of those things, like Sean's one of those guys. I think we talk to each other like maybe a couple times a year. Like if we're maybe we'll meet up in person once every couple years, and it's always a good time.
We're lucky.
Yeah, totally. So tell the people who you are. Tell them, give the folks a little bit about your background. Like talk about work and talk about why we know each other, shit like that. I'm gonna drink.
Sure,
I'm gonna drink some water.
I'm sure a lot of your viewers may be old friends of you as well, and so know me. But yeah, Phil and I, we met. Gosh, it was at the start of high school, I think, maybe freshman year or so, which would have been quite a while ago now. I don't count the years, but and then yeah, so we kind of grew up together, a lot of the same friends, and I kind of crazily both went into tech, right? So Phil's really a mastermind here in the CV space, and
Yeah.
I went into video games. So I've been a professional game designer now for almost 20 years. Working on a bunch of different stuff. I've been lucky to be involved in a lot of different big name games that people know, and little games that people have never heard of. So
Yeah,
yeah.
what's let's talk about some of your faves. Like what's probably like I like asking this question because I'll ask more bummer questions later, but like the what's the like you've been in the industry a while, and so like what was your first like what you saw your name in a credit, or you saw something you designed in a game and you were like, "Oh shit, I'm like in this now." Like do you have any examples of that?
Uh, I mean, the very first game I worked on was The Sims 2 for PSP. Um, and when that game released, I remember playing it and I realized that I had snuck some in jokes into the game and I'd forgotten. I was just a kid, I was messing around, and so I snuck some in jokes in there, and there was a graveyard with like tombstones, and so I put some of my friends' names on tombstones inside the game, and I included a stupid like something awful forums gag in there also. And I just slipped that in. So
I love that. I love the like I mean, well, video game like Easter eggs are a part of video game culture. Like I think more than anything, like that started with games. Like that has now become a thing in movies. Like there's Easter eggs in the Marvel movies and whatever, but like that's a video game thing to me, right? Like
yeah.
that's what that it goes back to like adventure. Like probably there's probably even earlier examples. I think probably on Set Side B, the gaming blog that I uh, kind of my Charles Foster Kane newspaper project. Side B probably has something about this. Let's find out. There you go.
Adventure is
Easter
the
eggs.
earliest one I can
Yeah.
recall of like Easter eggs. But
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything older than that. So, but anyway,
we
but
love doing that stuff. I mean, even the game
who
I'm working
doesn't?
on now, which hasn't been announced yet, but like I just today spotted an Easter egg that one of my coworkers had slipped in.
Mhm.
So
It's
it's a
like,
perennial
well,
thing.
it's it's also too like one of those things that the nomenclature is kind of really uh really flimsy. Like it's very flexible because like one person's Easter egg is another person's reference. Like
Mm-hmm.
is it an in joke, or is it just a literal reference to a thing? Because that's a different thing. Not
Yeah.
everything is an Easter egg. Like or not everything is a an in joke or like an inside reference or whatever. It's like yes, like a bunch of shit talks about the Odyssey.
Right.
You don't need to point it out every time.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. It could
this,
be an homage or
yeah,
maybe just a
yeah,
storytelling motif
yeah.
that's been repeated.
This
Yeah.
is it's like one of those awful YouTube channels, like Cinema Sins or whatever. Like, yeah, come
Oh
at me,
yeah.
you fuckers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Oh my
anyway,
gosh. If a
um,
game of mine shows up in pitch meetings, then I know it's over.
yeah, well, that's the end of it, right? So speaking of the end of it, like, so I mean, yeah, you have the good. I mean, there's those moments where you're like, oh shit, like I'm a professional in this field now. Like I did it. Like my shit's in a published game that like people are using, and they're seeing my goofy little things that I put in there to make to make me and my friends laugh while we were making it. um, that's that's a big one I think for everybody. Like that's totally a thing, and has been in my career as well. Where like just hiding little things. Like I remember one time for CES, we did this 10 foot by 10 foot like uh those big fabric things you see at trade shows,
Right.
like they're the
Yeah.
huge like and so you stretch it all the way around, and so it's realistically it would probably be like what 10 by 10 by 10 by 10 worth of
Yeah.
worth of fabric. And then we had to do like a floor and all this stuff, and to create the fabric, the tensile fabric printout graphic, we went to my backyard at the time and like did a 3D scan of the backyard, to like capture all the angles and stuff we needed to try to print this thing. And while I was cleaning up the scan, I added just like a bunch of little things in there. Like there's stuff like and this is stuff that like at most maybe 300 people ever saw, right? It's just little nothing stuff, but like I put little, like somebody in my version, somebody had carved stuff into the trees and in the scene, and like there was this chunk of like concrete, and one of the wear marks in the concrete actually had like the company logo, like, but really subtly worn in there, that like you wouldn't notice unless you actually looked at it for a minute. Like it's just one of those things you to keep yourself mildly sane, like you'd kind of do that stuff like as a, well, I'm here already, right?
Right. And it's a little delight. You're leaving a little treat for those who
yes, it's
are like really looking closely.
It's a little
Anybody
treat.
who's paying close attention.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Speaking of little treats, go to patreon.com/Phil Nelson. Give me a little treat. Give us a little treat at Retro Strange. For I think the lowest tier is like $1 or something like that. You can help support Retro Strange TV. We are in negotiations currently with the Media Archaeology Lab in Boulder, Colorado. One of my favorite places in the world. I've only been there a couple times, but it kicks ass. It's a bunch of hands-on old hardware stuff. So like, I mean, they've got Famicom, Vectrex, like Commodore 64, old PCs, like everything, and it's all hands-on. Like you can just grab. They got box software on the shelves from the 90s and the 80s and whatever. You can just go grab it, take the thing out, put it in a machine, play that shit. Super awesome. We're in talks with them to start syndicating some of their live streams that they've been doing, where they're cataloging the shit that comes into are donated to the Media Archaeology Lab. So like laser discs, game cartridges, stuff like that. They've been streaming that on Twitch. I want to bring that stuff onto Retro Strange TV. I think it could be like a nice, like that's basically our version of Bob Ross, is like cataloging old media stuff. I think
that's great.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty fun.
I'm a big fan of retro game myself. I actually I'm going to be doing a retro game tournament for some friends coming up soon.
Nice.
Not going like Vectrex or Commodore 64, keeping it to the in Nintendo,
like what's
and
available,
maybe PlayStation 1,
maybe?
Dreamcast,
Sure.
right?
Like on original hardware, or
yeah. Okay, oh yeah, I've got it all. It's all on the floor here. It's a mess.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
so
you can see mine is like laying around me. That's why I'm cropped so tight. Like you just can't see around,
I'm really looking forward to it. I actually just I also saw a magazine I've never heard of before called Retro Gamer. Apparently, it's a UK based magazine.
Yep.
You've heard of this?
I'm aware. Yeah.
I saw a post recently about somebody who showed the cover of it was the PSP, and in the corner of the magazine just says the word "old" with like an exclamation mark, and I was like, hang on, like this is the first console I worked on, and now this is retro.
It's been a while. When did the PSP like launch? The OG PSP.
The PSP launched in 2004. I think it was like late 2004, October, November, or something. And
the last version came out like what, 2008, 2010, something like that.
Well, it depends if you count the Vita, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Vita was 2010, maybe 2011.
Yeah. Okay.
And then but I had to look it up
because
I was like, there's no way it could be that long.
Didn't the Vita still also have like a memory stick slot in it, or was it UMD or something, or did it not have any? I can't remember.
I forget what format it was, but it did have a memory slot.
Because I remember the memory stick, because Sony was still trying to sell those for a long time.
Yeah, those.
Do they still use them in their cameras, or have they finally given up and they use SD cards?
I'm not sure. I'm not a photography person, unfortunately. But the stat that really kind of blew my mind.
Brother Chuck, he should be in this chat right now.
The stat that blew my mind though was the PlayStation Portable, the PSP, was released closer to the launch of Super Mario on the NES than to today.
Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. I totally believe it. Yeah. Yeah, man. I was just playing the the new NES Championship Edition thing on Switch. They released like
Yeah, I picked it up.
Nintendo's sanctioned speed run game, like app, basically. They're one of the things I love about them is like Nintendo is never going to give you something for free. Like they're going to test the shit out on you. They're going to test the shit out on paying customers or not at all. Like I admire that in a way. But I mean, what was it, like $20? I think it was like
30.
1999.
Something.
30 bucks, 30 bucks, 20,
Yeah.
20. There was a pretty cool looking. I'm proud of myself for not buying the like $60 fancy edition in Target stores that has like a replica cart.
Yeah.
I did not buy it. I thought about buying like 2 of them and then waiting 6 months and flipping them or whatever, but
If
I'm
the
not that.
cart worked, I would have been all
I'm not
about
that
it.
kind. I was. I mean, if it didn't, I was gonna make it work. Obviously, like that would be
Yeah.
part of the purpose of buying it. I'm actually. I do. That's one of the things I'm gonna do soon is buy one of the new like upcoming additions to the Wizard Tower fabrication system will be probably NES carts. I think we're gonna make it so I can burn. We're gonna get an NES like chip burner basically.
Make your own
Like
ROMs,
make
load them
yeah
up.
be able to burn our own ROMs and actually put them on carts, like usable carts.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah,
really
I guess
cool.
what we're gonna do next. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean we've got other irons in the fire, but I think the next change will probably be either NES or Game Boy. I haven't decided yet. I think
Right on.
like my heart leans to Game Boy because there's just so many more of them out there still. Like you know you could I could sell somebody like a new game on a Game Boy and a functional Game Boy for like $60. Like
Right.
that wouldn't be
Yeah.
a great Game Boy. It would like it'd be, you know, it might be a little dodgy in terms of like maybe one of the button sticks or like the screen's kind of blown out or whatever, but like it would totally be functional. You could play the
Yeah.
game for about the price of a common game. So you know, speaking of games, what are you playing recently, if anything?
Well, like I also picked up that NES Championship Edition, but otherwise I've been sort of struggling through the end of a couple of different games. One is Slay the Spire. I constantly keep coming back to that. It's like my mobile game of choice right now. I've got over 200 hours in it. And then on the console, I'm playing obviously Shadow of the Erdtree, trying to trying to beat the final boss on that, which has been an absolute pain in my side.
That's so one of those like Elden Ring is and all the Souls likes are just one of those games that like I really wish I could be good at, but I just can't. I don't have the like the deepest I can get into that shit basically like without getting too demoralized to continue, right, is like Zelda, like the most recent like Tears of the Kingdom, you know, like it's
Mm-hmm.
in a way they're actually kind of similar games. Like but like they're but you know
Yeah,
they're
yeah. I'm
different
trying to
in
picture like
important
Ganon
ways.
completely crushing you as soon as Link opens the door.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But no, Nintendo wouldn't do that because Nintendo doesn't hate you like the Souls games developers do. They're mean people. But no, it's a
they
like it,
yeah.
it's such beautifully crafted stuff. Like it's such a like it is one of those things where like I love that the Souls is genre like has become a genre at this point. Um, and I think it's kind of in part an outgrowth of the increased like I think part of it is the increased uh, prevalence of roguelikes. And
Mm,
so you got a bunch of these games that were like all procedurally generated. Despite the fact that like, you know, some of the oldest ones like NetHack are actually not totally random. Like there's certain stuff that will only happen on certain levels and blah, blah, blah.
right.
Um, but you got a lot for a long time. A lot of the indie stuff and a lot of the not AAA games were just very, and they still are, I think, you know, just a bunch of variations on roguelike mechanics, like procedure generated stuff, things, you know,
Mhm.
stuff like that roguelike games have been doing for a long time. And then you get the Souls games, which are sort of a counterpoint to that, which is like, here's a meticulously plotted, like there's very, very specific things that happen, at every, kind of like whenever your character ends up on this pixel or whatever, this contact point, like things are very plotted out, like to the
Yes.
letter in terms of what happens. And I think that it made a lot of sense to me that the ascendance of this, because also just Elden Ring was so extremely well executed and like just looked like $1,000,000. The play was just very snappy and really, really impressive. It looks fucking awesome from a graphical standpoint, but also just looks fucking awesome from like an artistic standpoint as well.
Mhm.
It's just super, the it's an 80s metal like wet dream of a game, but like with a production, like for the first time with like a production quality and budget that befits such a such a
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Like they spent fucking money on this game.
But everything's been handcrafted, like you point out, right? In fact, I think FromSoft is, to my mind,
Yeah.
probably some of the best level design in the business. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think
I
they're
mean
any
they
better.
made probably FromSoft and Nintendo. Like that's
Yeah, exactly.
like, yeah.
Yep. And so they can definitely, like, because it's so bespoke, it's so carefully crafted, it's they don't really need to leverage as much of the roguelike mechanics as you see in many of these other games. That's not to diminish them at all, because there's some incredible roguelike games like Hades, right? I mean, as
Yeah.
I just mentioned, Slay the Spire is actually like they literally just like, what if card game plus roguelike?
Yeah.
It's Slay the Spire now. So there's some amazing experiences. But there's something very special about the sense of discovery that you get within Elden Ring, and it's not quite deterministic where you can expect everything to go perfectly every single time the exact same way.
Yeah, there's just enough variation in there, like with just because of the world is kind of an actual world, stuff happens, and so yeah, there's degrees of there's enough variance because of like free will and the random number generator and all that shit.
Right. Yeah.
The RNG. Blessed be the RNG. May it forever be in your favor.
May it giveth and it taketh, my friend.
Always. Speaking of giving and taking, let's take a look at what is playing on Retro Strange Television right this moment. It looks like we've got oh wow, one of my faves. Did we I feel like this was just on here. Highgrass Circus. Basically this is a Canadian documentary about a traveling circus in the like Alberta region, I believe. Or no, maybe it's Saskatchewan. I can't remember. But yes, go check that out on Retro Strange.
Don't
TV.
worry, most people wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
It's way more interesting than what's happening here for sure. So you've been playing the Switch NES NES
just
Championships.
got it. Yeah, I think last night or night before. Yeah, just picked it up.
I feel like the game selection is kind of sparse. I feel like I'm hoping that they're like, we're secretly going to release 5 more games or something, right? Like
Yeah,
that would be
what, 13 games,
something
at
like
launch, I
that.
think?
But like, I mean,
Yeah.
come on, like if fucking Kid Icarus is on there, like that's not a serious offering. Like that, Nintendo keeps re-releasing Kid Icarus and nobody gives a fuck. Like they did like a 3D version for the 3DS. They did like a whole new, like like a new release, actual proper game, and nobody gave a shit.
It does make you wonder, do they have like a market research that tells us something that we don't know?
It's just the only thing. It's like, I think it's just one of those things that it was just its time, right? They were looking at the board. They were like, what IP have we not exploited recently on the big board? I imagine they have. And then they ended up on Kid Ick, and it was like, well, it didn't work.
I mean, I know I loaded up the championship edition the other night, and my partner looked at it and she went, "Oh, Kid Icarus is on here. Cool." And I was like,
There's
what
one.
are you talking
That's
about?
what it's for. That's what it was.
You.
It was for, yes, it was for Colleen, clearly.
I was very surprised that they didn't have the full games on there that you could just like, sort of speed run yourself and get the entire
which is kind of goofy because it's very like it's that nickel and dimey Nintendo thing they do, because I mean, for that you got to pay for Nintendo Plus or whatever the fuck it's called, and then you get all those games on the virtual console system.
Right.
But you'd think it would come, because again, these are like 4 kilobyte ROMs. Like, it's, come on.
And like you don't even though you can get them through
half
the
the
virtual console, you don't get the timer.
Yeah,
Right. You don't
right.
get
That's true. Like, half the people that worked on these games are dead. That's how old they are. Like, fuck. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but like, seriously, just think about it. Like, at some point, you got to set these things free. Like, yeah. I mean, not even including, people that. So yeah, I played through a few of them. Like, who was? I was surprised. There was something I can't remember the full game list now, but there was something that was on there that I was surprised it was on there. And it wasn't Kid Ick, and I'm gonna have to look at the game list now because I can't remember.
I don't know. When I loaded it up, I stayed to the classics myself. I played through all the Super Mario Brother 3 ones because I'm gonna include that in my retro tournament because it's a throwback to The Wizard, right? That classic film.
Yes.
When they show
That
Super
was
Mario Brothers 3.
That was like the big reveal. Like, definitely.
So I figure as part of the tournament.
The NES World Championships, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition is the official title of this game.
NES Edition.
Yes.
NES World Championships NES Edition?
Nintendo World Championships.
I see. So they're going to do a Nintendo World Championship
NES Edition. Then they're going to do Super Nintendo and 64.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, the full, it's a Balloon Fight, Donkey Kong, Excite Bike, Ice Climber, Kid Icarus, Kirby's Adventure, Metroid, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Brothers Lost Levels, aka Super Mario Bros. 2 US, or JP rather, and then Legend of Zelda, or Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. So like, no, it's all Nintendo IP.
Sure.
Like, there's no. I was hoping there would be like, and maybe this comes in later. Maybe this is Nintendo's like, oh,
Battletoads
they're like, oh yeah,
there.
like we've sold 10 million copies of this. Konami, like, what, or Capcom, like, let's get those Mega Mans on here. Let's get some Castlevanias. Like,
Mega Man's a good call.
The people are going to demand the Castlevanias and whatnots. I'm a big fan of. Are you a fan of like speed run stuff? Do you watch any?
Oh, love it. Yeah, I love games done quick.
Yeah, GDQ, big fan.
Summoning Salt, obviously.
Yeah, Summoning Salt is the shit.
Yeah, I love keeping up with that community. I'm something of a speedrunner myself. I'm not quite that into it, but like I loved Super Meat Boy was like my game when it came to like setting. At one point, I was 4th on the PlayStation 4 record boards for one of the levels. So big fan. But like some of the stuff that people do is insane. These like these blindfolded runs and things, the randomizers. It's really impressive what people can do.
I'm a big fan of the randomizer stuff. Like there's a couple good ones. There's a really good one for Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. There's a super good randomizer, and also a really fun one for Fallout New Vegas. Which I mean still has like this like bizarrely vibrant mod scene. 20, not 20, but what's it been, like 12 years after the fact, or whenever the fuck, 15 years after the game came out. There's still like a mod scene for that game, like, and there's still people.
London, right?
Fallout
London just got
exactly
announced.
Yeah. Well, that one, I think that one in Fallout 4.
Is it in 4?
That's DLC from 4, because there was a huge issue with this where like they Bethesda released some major update to Fallout 4, and it like fucked up a bunch of their work. This huge mod, Fallout London, which is based on but yeah, the idea was that it would be like a self-contained like DLC size story, but they had to because of a bunch of changes recently made from Bethesda that they did not communicate to the mod makers. Apparently there was some drama. There's 20,000 people on their Discord.
Wow.
Which is nuts. Like, holy crap. But yeah, the Fallout 4, New Vegas one was there's a really good randomizer for it. So like almost every NPC will be randomized. So like in some way. So you will get like what would normally be like these kind of little gecko, one-shot gecko things you can shoot with a BB gun might end up being like death
A
claws, or
death claw,
like
sure.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
literally, or like one time for me it spawned as one time for me, one of the geckos that spawn near a well outside of Good Springs in Fallout New Vegas ended up randomizing as Mr. House, like the main, like kind of the main prime mover of the entire story of the game. And so like I just killed him immediately, like in the beginning of the game. It was like
Game over.
just well, no, I mean it's just like that. Okay, that path is no
Yeah.
longer available. Like the way the game is designed, it actually supports this. Like there's no, I think there's only like, actually, you know what? I don't think there's anybody in the game that you can't kill. It's like the
Mm,
only Bethesda published game that this is the case for. Because remember in like even going back to like Morrowind, what was it like
you're
the
right.
the thread of
You
fate has been
been
severed.
severed.
Like,
Yeah, you think you can cut Vivek out of the game and just
yeah,
think it's over, and
yeah,
the game's like, well, good luck. It'll let
yeah,
you play, but it will tell you like there
yeah.
is no ending now.
But like with New Vegas, and this was the case in Fallout 3. The way it was set up is just some people you can't kill.
Yeah,
Skyrim, it's just some people you can't kill. Like they
yeah,
just if they get knocked down and then revive at some point, like with 1 HP or whatever. They're unkillable. But in New Vegas, you can basically kill everybody. There's fail safes in the game to like, okay, what happens if so and so is dead who's supposed to deliver this message? Oh, and it'll go to the next backup guy or whatever. Like I love that shit. I love that
yeah.
actually lets you make choices. There's this false this false choice, this sort of illusion of choice that you get in a lot of specifically Bethesda games. Really, I gotta I gotta give Todd Howard some heat here, because like it's not a choice if it does, if what whether you do it or not doesn't change anything, right? Like
Right.
that's not a thing. It's aesthetics at that point. You're just choosing a different hat, and like that's fine, but just call it that. Like don't pretend that it's like some huge moral quandary when it's really just a different hat.
Right. Right. Yeah. That stuff's really challenging. I mean, like, as a developer, it's like, all right, are we going to be creating, multiple branching paths? Can we support all of that? It's really impressive when games are able to pull that off, like Baldur's Gate 3 recently, which is just like go
So
nuts,
good.
and it's really phenomenally impressive when games are able to pull it off and have they've thought of everything. Did you try throwing a barrel in there and then lighting things on fire before you even started to talk to somebody? Yeah, they thought of it. They've got a result
Like
for that.
or like stuffing people's corpses into crates and carrying them with you. Like there's
Yeah,
just, oh man, like I have so much respect for the Larian team for, yeah, just the sheer number of
yeah,
edge cases, because it's, I mean it's not like a small game either. You're talking, minimum, like you could speed run it probably, like to actually see most of the shit in the game, or play through, do a playthrough, like what, 20 hours, something like that minimum. Like if you just like A to B and got really lucky, you could do it in like 20 hours. I think my
yeah,
first playthrough, I didn't actually finish. I kind of burned out toward the end. But I think I was at like 60 some hours. Like
cool.
it's totally like taking my time. Some of those are like, well, you fell asleep with the keyboard on your lap, but it is what it is. We've all been
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But it's impressive what an army of writers and some good tools can achieve for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and just paying attention. I mean, it's craft. Like they really crafted some shit. Like the sheer amount of like there's only so much of this work that can be done in a spreadsheet. Like
Hmm.
so much of it has to be like a lot of it is actually just feel like it has to feel right. um and it's just kind of interesting to, like, there's still a lot of rough edges in Baldur's Gate 3, like, and it's mostly in stuff happening too fast at once. Like there'll be like, you get those things where like the camera whiplashes around, like from A to B to like something like 3 things happened at the same time, and so it's like pachoo, 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 and you're like what, and then like a bunch of stuff spams in the log and you're like what, and like half your guys are dead and you're like okay,
You're like, I'm in
or
danger.
like or you killed everybody, right? Like it's either you did it or they did it, or like yeah, like maybe something's like the ceiling's crashing or some shit, which also happens, right? And I think they could do a lot better in those kinds of situations, but in terms of actually like in terms of player agency, but also keeping them on the path of a story you want to tell, I think they did a tremendous job. Like yeah, the best in recent memory.
Then you throw a speedrunner into the mix and it all goes to hell.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what they do though. You got to find ways to break it.
Yeah.
It's the fun part. It's the fun part.
Yep.
I still like yeah, we were playing when my girlfriend Natalia was here. We played a little. We played some old video games, and like I hadn't played Super Mario World in a long time, and I still remembered like I think the first like 5 secret locations, like just just off the top of my head, right? Like went through all the way. I think I went all the way up to Vanilla Dome, and was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done for now. But it's so funny how those things get stuck in your brain. Like yeah. I will sometimes clench up and be like, oh fuck, what's my phone number again? But I remember the Super Mario World shortcuts and secrets.
I'll never forget those warp pipes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, embeds in your brain.
It's true. Speaking of embedding in brains, let's take a quick ad break. A 3-minute ad break. I'm gonna I'm gonna hit the oh shit button. So bring us back online here, and we can talk about favorite flavors of Gatorade. I think I think it's
Like,
got to
Gatorade.
be. I we're just talking off the camera here. I think for me, it's got to be either Glacier Freeze, which we are both ironically, hilariously drinking.
Yep.
Um,
Not a paid
and
shill, I
no,
promise.
not yet. I mean, get
At
at
your
me.
local store.
Get at me, Gatorade.
Yeah.
Get at me, your local store.
Your local
And
store, your local retailer.
yes, that's Phil at extrafuture.com. We can make something happen. I take cash. You can also pay me in cigarettes. I'll make it work. Um, it's either that or the original yellow Gatorade flavor. Like I have a, you know, in my mind, playing junior high school football and doing sprints in the middle of summertime is still a feeling I remember, like that. Okay, that was the thirstiest I've ever been. Right? Like I was
Yeah.
in my mind.
Talk
And
about
so
embedded in your memory,
yeah,
right?
and
And
like
then
and drinking the yellow flavor, the was it lemon lime or
lemon.
whatever? I
Yeah.
guess lemon lime flavor Gatorade, like that, and that it unlocks that sense memory
Yep.
that I remember from, like, yeah, having to run from the parking lot to the bus barn in junior high school, basically until you couldn't anymore. And kind of like then at the end of it, like just literally squirting it into your face like liquid. Yeah, that just, yeah, it sticks in one's mind when you, like, I smoke a decent amount of weed these days. I'm pretty open about it on my shows and whatever. And I am taken back to that scene sometimes in the mid, like at 1 a.m. Like you
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
you go, you smoke half a joint, as I often do. You go downstairs and smoke half a joint in the alley, and then come back up and fall asleep, and then wake up at like 1 or 2 in the morning, just like you've woken up in the desert, like you've been laying in sand, like you desperately need, and the absolute best thing in the entire world is some flavor of Gatorade, just stone cold in the fridge.
Hey man, it's got what plants crave, right? That's
Mhm.
got that good stuff. And it unlocks those
It's got
memories.
electrolytes. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually have uh, I'm to the point now where I buy the big tubs of powder now. I have Gatorade powder in my home, like a significant amount of it in the in the kitchen.
You're there like with your like creatine, but it's like your Gatorade
Yes,
powder instead.
it's essentially this.
You're cracking open 6 eggs
Yeah,
and get your
yeah.
Gatorade powder.
And then throwing them in the trash and drinking Gatorade. Like,
Yeah.
no, like actually do we go through a lot of eggs here in the Wizard Tower. I'm a big fan of, like, I have like an egg for breakfast, right? Like just that kind of thing. But also I'm a big fan of marinating them and doing like soy eggs. I love the soy eggs so much that
I need to up my game. We've got a chicken coop now. We've had it for about a year and a half.
Well, you do live
and
in the Pacific Northwest. I think they were going to start coming after you. Isn't it legally required at this point?
yeah, I think it's like I got my state mandated Subaru Outback. I've got I've got my chicken coop. Yep, I go on hikes every other weekend. Definitely. Yeah. It's law
Sounds
here
about right.
at this point. But yeah, getting 5 eggs a day. Suddenly you got to start getting pretty creative.
Yeah, no, I mean it sneaks up on you. Like you think it's a blessing and a curse. The So yeah, a big fan of just marinating, like you do like 6 of them at a time. You soft boil them, just so the yolk's still a little bit kind of jammy, and put them in a bag with some soy sauce for 6 hours.
That's
Great.
tough timing.
It's
Yeah,
great.
I could never get that soft boil.
See,
right.
it's super easy, dude. It's weird how, like, I was always worried about it. Like I had anxiety about trying to soft boil eggs, but it's super fucking easy. It's 6.5 minutes. That's it. Like it doesn't matter. Like
All
seriously,
right.
like you put the thing in there. Like I do the thing with a chopstick where you spin them around a little bit, so it helps like get the yolk kind of in the same like in the middle there.
Yeah.
But like seriously, once the water starts to boil, like 6.5 minutes, you take them out. They'll be great. Put them in an ice bath, and they'll be great.
I gotta give it a go. I
It,
gotta
it
give it a
works.
go. Our
Yeah,
latest
it's
test
wild.
is to see how long we can make fresh eggs last. Apparently, if you keep like them shelled without boiling them or anything in a lime and water mixture and just dunk them in there, they'll last up to 18 months allegedly.
Wow, that's crazy.
We'll see. I might die
That's
in 18
impressive.
months.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I mean, yeah, it'll be for science. So
Yeah.
Your-
Green eggs and ham.
yes, your child will. This will be your child's like supervillain origin story. They'll become
Right.
like anti, like anti like any protein that isn't like that involves chicken eggs or eggs of any kind.
Yeah.
It's like
He's already anti-protein.
it'd be
so.
like a character. It'd be like a character from like One Punch Man. It'd be like, like Wagyu Man or something. Indeed. So yeah, I was playing I was playing the NES Nintendo World Championship, so I'll play that a little bit more on the stream later. The some of the like Nintendo did a really good job on this. Are you familiar with Multi Bowl? Remember Multi Bowl? You ever see Multi Bowl?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, I gotta pull this up. So Multi Bowl is like one of the funnest things I've ever seen in my life. It was they I was lucky enough to play it in person at XOXO Fest a couple years ago. Let me pull up the screen share here. Trying to find the two player screen share. Wait, where is it? Where'd it go?
Multi-bowl.
Yeah, Multi Bowl. Okay, I think I got it. Oh, not quite. All right, whatever. Multi Bowl is this 2-player. Basically, it was these people hacked together using MAME, and maybe some other emulators. I think it was mostly MAME. They hacked together this thing that would basically do what this NES Championships, Nintendo World Championships game does, but for like every game. And so it was a 2-player thing, and it would be like sort of like the WarioWare, like maybe it'd be like Street Fighter. Maybe one of them would be like do like connect with one strike or something, right? It would be like that.
Okay.
Or it would be like even like Balloon Fight for Nintendo, because that was also in arcades. Or
Tiny
like,
little micro
yes,
experiences.
but like
games,
using the original ROMs, like
Yeah.
and MAME for all this stuff. It's called Multi Bowl. But
That's pretty rad.
It got it ended up getting taken down because of obvious reasons.
Sure.
But I think I have a copy of it somewhere. I need to try to find, because it's mostly been scrubbed from the internet. It exists, and you can find it on torrent sites basically. But it runs on Windows only, and like there's a bunch. It's just a really brittle thing. You have to like have things just installed in a certain very certain way.
It's a cool idea though. I've seen I don't know if you've played this yet on that championship edition, that they've got like challenges of the week or something.
Yes.
It would be interesting to see if they would like string together challenges from like different games in a row and see how you quickly can get through like that type of a set in a multi-bowl kind of way.
Yes. And there's, I think, there's just enough games in this lineup that it's like there's just enough stuff to do that you're not, I mean, it's worth the $30. Like you'll get that much worth of fun out of it for sure, right? But then the ability, I think can you 6-player or 4 or 6-player on it, I think.
Up to 10, I think.
10-player? Damn. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Up to 8. It says up to 8 here. Up to 8 in local multiplayer.
Yeah. But that's still 8 people playing simultaneously. Speed
Yeah.
running together is
I mean,
great.
that's a fun, like, yeah, I would try running this. Like if I did if I was like I would try running that game at like a bar or whatever if I was doing
Yeah.
regular stuff there. Like uh folks out like my cousin Jordan does the karaoke shit. Like if I was running karaoke, I'd be like, what if we started playing Nintendo over there too? Like
Just I don't know.
why
Just
not?
getting it set up. Get
Why
started.
not? I mean, the
Yeah.
Nintendo's already here. All right, Sean, I'm gonna let you go. Tell the
Okay.
folks if the folks want to track you down, if they're mad at you, or they just think you're swell. What's the best way for them to do that? Where can they find you on Al Gore's internet?
Yes. Thank you, Al Gore. I hope he's celebrating. Um, I
Celebrating good times.
I will. I think, yeah, the best way to get a hold of me if folks are really interested in learning more is through LinkedIn. So you can find me, Sean Stahl, on LinkedIn. I'm a game designer, and I'm always excited to, I think, see what people are creating and talk game development and game design and learn and grow together.
Yeah, lots of fun, exciting stuff happening in game dev today. I think weirdly though, I worry. My personal fear is that we're getting farther away from what like the actual goals that I like we had when I was younger, which is like making it easier for people to actually create stuff. I think it, it's actually exactly as much work as it used to be.
You think so?
But it's
Oh,
like
it's interesting.
but just different stuff. You just have to learn different tools, different specific tool chains. I feel like it's the same amount of work. I don't
I,
think it's easier.
there's some amazing accessible stuff. I was just talking to a coworker this morning whose daughter is 11, who's looking to
Mm.
get into game development, and I recommended Scratch, which is MIT
Yeah,
has their own
Scratch is
coding
great.
language. That's really great. I think that's just such a great entry point for kids, which was never accessible when we were young. I mean,
Mm.
I was coding in QBasic when I first got
Oh
started,
yeah,
which
like
was
I DOS, man. I'm a
completely
DOS guy.
inaccessible. All I knew was go tos and print statements, and that was my game.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
kids are
Visual
doing great
Basic and
stuff now.
DOS over here when I was a youngin. But um, yeah, like no, I mean I guess what I mean is like it doesn't. I think it's easier than ever to quickly prototype something, but that's not really what most people are interested in doing. I think like they want to feel like they have some kind of understanding or mastery of something, and
Yeah.
like it's the same amount of work to actually acquire that sort of skill that it used to
Yeah.
be.
I would say that
Which is
nowadays
like
it's
maybe that's just the way it's always going to be. It's just because I like what I'm describing is just called expertise and it takes time. I
well,
don't know.
sure, yes, but I think also with game development, it's extraordinarily rare now to see one person make a game on their
Mm,
own, start to finish, every
mm,
single piece of it.
mm.
I mean, you see some amazing folks like Concerned Ape, right, with Stardew Valley,
Well,
and
it's always been,
Toby Fox with
but
Undertale, but
it's always been super rare though. I mean,
yeah,
those are exceptions. Even way back in like the floppy disk era, like a lot of the times it would be, one person doing like graphics and one person doing code or one person doing music. And, it would usually be a collaboration between two or more people, like even way, way back.
sure, yeah. So I think it's important to recognize too that as games get bigger and bigger and bigger, it takes more and more people,
Hmm.
and it seems to be the way that things have been pushed and pushed and pushed. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
no, I
I'm
want,
always excited to see what kids are up to, what they're building next.
yeah, what's that Sonic meme? Like I want shittier games made by fewer people that cost more money or whatever. Like I'm down. I'm
I
down.
want them game developers to work less and
Yeah,
make more money. I
that's what
think
I
is
want.
yeah.
That's what I want.
I love that.
All right, Sean. Thanks for stopping by, man. We'll have you
Thank you.
back. Maybe we'll play some. Like I think we're Nintendo Switch buddies. Maybe we'll play some games at some point on the Switch. I think after this, we're probably gonna come back with some. It's either gonna be Vampire Survivors or Nintendo World Championships. Let's find out. We'll take
All right.
another top. We'll take an ad break. Thanks for stopping by, Sean. Adios. Bye con Dios.
Thank you, Phil.
Yes, thank you. All right. Let's play some video games, huh? Going to take a look at the Nintendo World Championships NES edition for the Nintendo Switch here on Phil's show. I'm Phil. It's my show in case you needed a reminder. I'm also going to go into the settings here and turn on the monitor so I can actually hear the game. Yeah, okay. I wonder how much this is going to affect, like how much latency there is going to be. What did I do? When did I win here? Did I win anything? Cool. All right, top 60% in Metroid, baby. Way to go, me. Wow. Birth year ranking at 1,608 out of 2,781 players. It was 4 years old at the time of Metroid's release. Holy moly. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can read. There we go. Next. They really did a good job here. I love the presentation of this entirely. I'm very impressed. It's the package is worth it. Top 63%. Interesting. 37,381. Wow. Yeah, I gotta say, Nintendo really nailed this one. Super impressed. Wow, top 100%. Holy shit, dude. Wow. The 1983 birth year folks are really slacking here, which makes sense. Wow. How was I... Jesus. That's nuts, dude. How am I top 99%? Excuse me. 549. Damn. All right. And then, of course, Kid Ick, as we were talking a bunch of shit about Kid Icarus in my chat with Sean Stahl earlier. I guess this one's for Colleen. All right, top 89%. Interesting. Huh. All right. So this was the champion of the morph. Let's take a look at this one. Oh wow, look at that. That's just masterful. Holy moly. That quick little, like it's really right here. Like that, just one frame of touching. Nuts. 3 frames. Holy moly. Super well done. All right, let's actually play some, huh? Mushazoom 2. Let's figure it out. Okay. Oh wow, the latency is super bad. Holy shit. My capture card. Oh boy. All right, this is gonna be tough. Damn, it's too hard for this. I need to plug it into like a different screen. I'm just trying to play from the cap, and it's too hard. That sucked ass too. I've done a way better job of this. Maybe, what if I move? Okay. We're gonna try something quick here. We're gonna move my capture. No, I can't do it. Note to self. Plug the actual switch into something because the latency is just balls. Oh, you motherfucker. Alright, whatever. I think we're gonna have to play something else. The latency is just too bad. I can do better. Yeah, that could have also been better. Whatever. I'll take it. Aquamentus argumentus. Feet aquamentus. It's gonna be a tough one. Damn. Just gotta be in the head. Oh, dude, the latency is killing me. Shit. Fucker. Alright, whatever. Oh my god, fuck off, spammer. I gotta take time out of my stream to go yell at this asshole on Twitch. No. I don't want whatever you're selling. Dick. Super annoying when people do this. All right, let's go. Exit stage right. I never played the Kirby 4 NES. I played the Game Boy one a ton. I think the original Kirby's Adventure for Kirby's Dream Land, I think, for Game Boy is one of the best games on that system. It's just so tight and well made. Just gonna cheese this the whole way. Cheesing it up, baby. Call me Chester Cheese It. Oh shit, no! It's coming back to bite me in the ass. The latency got me again. It's too clever for my own good. Fuck. Gotta try this one more time. Oof. Yeah, the latency is just fucking balls. I love, yeah. There we go. Yeah, it's like just bad enough that it's. Come on, dude, let me in there. All right, we're gonna skip it. That's good enough. Legend difficulty. What do I have to do? Classified information. Clear world 8. Oh wow, it wants you to, wow, this is sick. I love this. It wants you to go from 1 to 2 to 4 1. Yeah, holy moly. I'm definitely not going to do this right now. But that's pretty awesome. Let's take a look at, so like, yeah, survival mode. Played a couple of these and did not do great. I think again that Mario break 20 blocks. That's really interesting. I think that Mario's a bad one for this setup because I need pixel precision. I can't really get that with the thing being as janky as it is. Oh, come on. That was terrible. Nice. All right. I love that. Like, I want to go back and look at the results because I feel like, is there any way I can compare just how much worse at this game I am? Like, yeah, this one, 265. That's nuts. Yeah, that's what 1.55. Holy moly. Are you kidding me? Absolutely smooth. It's like, yeah, just a couple of frames. See, right there. It's nuts. Super impressive. Yeah, let's watch a S tier Donkey Kong run. I'm always down for that shit. Damn. Dude was so fast I didn't even have time to finish drinking my Gatorade. I did really badly at this one, I feel like, because Kid Icarus fucking sucks. It's a bad game. I don't care what you say. A lot of cool ideas. None of them come together well. I do think it's interesting how you can go, you can wrap around the side of the screen. I think that kind of went away really quickly after this as a gameplay mechanic. Maybe in the name of realism or some other such nonsense. I just, yeah, look at this. This game is just such a dickhead. It's just so mean to you for no reason. Like, half of the game is just falling into pits and dying. Why would someone do this to themselves? I don't even remember if I actually beat this one or not. Very impressive. Oh, let's give it a try. Oh, Bob-omb. Oh, wow. Yeah, my strongest event here. Shit. Man, I'm fucked. I'm totally fucked. Yeah, that was terrible. Totally hosed there. Just barely. So how many of these challenges do you think Nintendo will end up actually minting badges for? I think this is exactly the kind of thing that you will find at their theme parks at some point. I'm totally fucked here. Yep, I lost. Excuse me, folks. This is very difficult with the additional latency of the game cap device. Oof. Super lucky there. It's also not very good. I mean, everybody else there sucked. I think it's just matching me up with Phoebes because I've proven to be a Phoebe myself. Let's go. Alright. Did alright. Fuck. Fucked. Oh shit, I did it. Nice. Alright. I survived. It's my first win, baby. I'm glad we were streaming it. I would wear that pin. I earned that shit. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, I mean these pins are pretty cool. I think people would. I'm gonna set this one as my favorite pin because I love it. All right, that's Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. I think we're gonna call it an early night tonight. It seems like people are kind of tired out there. We'll be back next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. Don't forget to be good to yourselves out there. Take care of yourselves. Take care of somebody else if you can. I will see you next time for sure here on Phil's show. I'm Phil. It's my show. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.